hard-to-understand supervillain Bane.
Like shipwrecked men turning to seawater, I will let them believe that they can survive.
Nolan has repeatedly defended what he calls impressionistic soundtracks.
It's a choice to use dialogue almost as a sound effect.
Where you watch a movie also makes a difference. If you're at home, chances are you're using a streaming service like Netflix or Disney+. They compress the audio to prevent buffering. But sound engineer Karen Baker-Lander says the streamers all use different compression standards, and that can mess with intelligibility.
If you're mixing for a theatrical release, the different streamers take that master session, and what they do with it is something that we need to standardize.
So for now, a clear solution is nowhere in sight or sound. Barry Gordimer, NPR News.
This is Morning Edition from NPR News. I'm Amy Martinez.
Say what? Say what? I'm Michelle Martin. Speak up.
You know what our names are.
Leadership support for WNYC comes from the Jerome L. Green Foundation, a proud supporter of New York City's major cultural institutions, providing scholarships in the arts, education, and medicine.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London and see what they're working on. Hello, London.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Tim Franks. On today's NewsHour, top US officials in Paris for talks on Ukraine. Will there be a shift towards Kyiv? That's BBC NewsHour at 9 on WNYC.
48 and sunny right now. Sunshine today, a high of 63 and gusty. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, mid-60s and gusty. Warm on Saturday, 81.
California is suing, saying President Trump's new tariffs are illegal.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance. The Name Your Price tool provides a range of coverage options. Progressive.com. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. California is suing the Trump administration over its sweeping tariffs. The state says the executive branch lacks the constitutional authority to enact them. The lawsuit is the most significant legal challenge to the Trump tariffs. Only some of those were put on hold. The back and forth over import duties has knocked financial markets for several loops and increased talk of recession. Marketplace's Nova Safo is here with more.
You know, David, California is laying out what amounts to a conservative legal challenge over Trump's tariff policies, and this is over a legal theory the Supreme Court under Roberts has championed. The theory is called the Major Questions Doctrine, and the idea is that if the executive branch wants to decide an issue of major national significance, it needs congressional authorization. Here's California's Governor Gavin Newsom making the case.
I would just highlight just two of the specific examples the Supreme Court used as it relates to the Major Questions Doctrine on the issue of student loans under the Biden administration, on the Clean Power Plan under the Obama administration. If they are consistent, then this lawsuit is a lock.
Because he said the tariffs impact the economy in California in such a profound way.
I also heard the governor say that California is the biggest manufacturing state. Surprised me a little.
Yeah, he did say that. He was talking about the value of output. He mentioned NVIDIA in Silicon Valley. So officials are trying to assert that they have standing to sue, and they are trying to highlight the major economic impacts of the tariffs, something that again goes to proving the relevance of the Major Questions Doctrine. Now, while the state is asserting that this is a slam dunk, as the governor said, the White House says it believes it is on solid ground on the basis that the tariffs are dealing with a national emergency. And that's something Congress has authorized, according to the White House. Now, that's an interpretation that courts will have to resolve as well, David.
All right, Nova, thank you. The Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, yesterday indicated he'll wait and see regarding the economic effect of tariffs before changing interest rates. The European Central Bank today lowered Europe's cost of borrowing to compensate for what the Europeans see as erratic U.S. trade policy. President Trump today posted he wants Powell out. NASDAQ futures are up 1%. Dow futures are down 1.3%, so things are mixed.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, dedicated to helping businesses save time on office tasks and empower leaders with business buying solutions that support teams to focus on growing the business. Learn about smart business buying at AmazonBusiness.com.
Now to an update on a minor story from the terrible wildfires in California in January. You may have heard some of my coverage. Our own house burned in the fire, which destroyed much of Altadena. We were away and unhurt, but the place was a total loss. We didn't find much in the ash, but I did locate a lump of charred electronics, the box for my internet. Normally you return these when you turn off service or you pay. On my first call the day after the fire, internet customer service said just ignore the equipment charge, but that fee stayed on the bill.
They've been trying to dun me for the $150 because they want their router back when I canceled the service after the house burned down.
This is a Marketplace video we did a few weeks after the fire. I held up the toasted router to the camera.
I'm going to enjoy bringing my router back so they leave me alone.
It was just a passing thought. Nobody needs to actually see my rubble. But the charge was unwelcome at a time I'd not seen any fire insurance money, and Marketplace listeners were writing in asking how it was going with my router, so I kept at it. It has been an adventure. Call number 2, the rep said she'd put router burned in wildfire in my account. By the end of January, an AT&T salesman came over when I was putting internet into our new rental place. That $150 charge was still there. He said he'd take it to his supervisor. But about 6 weeks later, a final notice came in the mail. Time to go bricks and mortar.
I'm going to go in the AT&T store in Los Angeles and see if I can get some satisfaction. I'll let you know how it goes.
Inside the store, it was back on their phone to a rep with enhanced powers, but still no easy way to zero out that charge. But when I said I still had the evidence, he got an idea. The plan was elaborate. Find a UPS or FedEx place, and it was really happening. Send in my briquette.
All right, now I've driven to the UPS store, which wasn't that far away, and we'll see if they'll take this burnt up thing in a Ziploc bag. It looks a little gnarly. I'm not sure they want it, but fingers crossed.
But inside, where's the serial number? Melted. Creatively, the UPS guy offered to try putting in a bunch of ones where the serial number should go. Would that really work? Less than a week later, success! The $150.61 charge was gone. Not sure which of all those interventions worked, but something did. Now, you could say a bill like this is why you have fire insurance. Fair enough. But, the electric company isn't charging me for the burned wires, nor did the garbage company for my melted bin. And I worry about fellow fire survivors. More than 16,000 homes and other structures were destroyed in the Eaton and Palisades fires. What about their internet boxes or possible effects on credit scores if they don't pay? After resolving my thing, only then did I reach out to AT&T Media Relations for comment on this piece. The company declined my request for an interview, but sent back a statement saying the company's thoughts are with everyone impacted by the devastating wildfires. The statement did, at least, clarify their policy. Quote, customers are not expected to return equipment destroyed in the fires or pay out of pocket for damaged equipment. We apologize for any miscommunication implying otherwise. To those who also find themselves enrolled in the Fellowship of Lost Routers, there's that statement the company does not intend to charge. It's also my hope this gets the word out to customer service so they'll know what to do when others check in. Competitor Spectrum also promises not to charge for equipment damaged in a wildfire. Links and a photo of the sad router will be at marketplace.org this morning. And a new Marketplace video has just been released as U.S. Army contractors backhoe my place down to the dirt with more teachable moments from the fire now streaming from TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Threads, LinkedIn, and Blue Sky. In Los Angeles, I'm David Brancaccio. It's the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.